Good afternoon and welcome back to the workbench. Today I'm just taking a quick look at this MacBook here. It's a MacBook A1398 MacBook Pro. The owner has described it as making a funny noise, which I believe is the fan. So it's quite possible that the fan is full of dust, or it may be wearing out, I'm not sure. I'm just going to open that up and have a look and clean out any dust, and hopefully that will fix the problem. But first of all, I just want to turn it on and record the actual noise so that anyone who is interested or wants to know, similar problem, maybe you can compare that to your own if you have an issue like that, and see what's going on. So yeah, I'll just open this up. Turn it on, open the lid. I'm not going to show the screen here, obviously, because I don't want to show the owner's details, but I'll just turn on my little recorder here, and I'll put this there, pointing at the fan grills. I'll turn this on. You should be able to hear that noise. It's pretty obvious. It's quite a loud, sort of rattling, consistent noise. Yeah, to me it sounds like the fan has got something jammed in it. And there we go. You can see when the laptop turns off again, the noise makes a pretty obvious slowing down. So it's definitely a fan spinning down, making that noise. So yeah, I'll just basically open this up and we'll have a look inside and see. Hopefully I can clean the dust out. I can't replace the fan or anything today if that is the problem, because I don't actually have any spare. If that is the case, I'll have to order one and do it later or something, but we'll see what happens. And now we can open this, and first of all I'll just talk about this screwdriver here. I bought this the other day. It's a, let's see if I can get this in focus. It's a PB Swiss Tools PB8129.1 1,2-40. The MacBook Pro obviously uses pentalobe screws on the case there. This is a pentalobe driver, 1.2mm. Because it's European, he got 1,2 instead of 1.2, as US and other countries would expect. But yeah, so it's model 8129. You can look that up on their website. And then yeah, 1,2 stands for 1.2mm, which is the size of the bit. And this is a good brand. It's got a proper, hardened bit on it, not like the cheap screws you can buy on eBay. Cheap screwdrivers you can buy on eBay for like $5 or something for a pack of 10, which will just break in 5 seconds. So don't bother with that. This was $22.50 NZ, which is pretty good. I think probably about $15 US. So not a bad price. You can also get ones from Weha about the same price as well, but this one was the one that I could get the fastest and easiest, so I bought this one. The 40 has got nothing to do with the bit size, it's just the length of the shaft there, so 40mm. And yeah, it's pretty nice. It's a very light screwdriver. I think it's 9 grams or something, that's what their website says. Overall length is 133mm. Pentalobe 1.2mm is what you need for these, the MacBook Pro specifically. I don't know about the other ones, I don't typically work on these obviously. But if you buy the Weha one, apparently the same size for this, instead of marked 1.2, it's marked PR4 or maybe PL4. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't really make sense, but there you go. So I can put a link to those different models if anyone wants one. But that's that. You do need one of these. Alright, so obviously the first thing to do is to turn it upside down and to take the screws out. Now, there is something to note about these. The two at the back here, I believe, are shorter than all the other ones. So worth making note of that and being sure you don't mix them up, because as is typical with a lot of Apple products, obviously if you get the wrong screws in the wrong place you can cause damage or whatever, so definitely worth being sure of that. So when I take out screws from anything like this, when I'm not sure what the lengths are, I always arrange them in a pattern on the workbench. You can also get little holders and stuff. I typically like to do that, to arrange them in the same layout as they are out of the device, so that I know exactly where they come from. So we got 3 there, 1, 2, 3, and I've got 3 in a line there. And then we go across, we got these 2 here. So I'll put those 2 there. Those do look the same length. As the others, so that's okay. But you know, I mean, when I believe in the iPhone, some of the iPhones, for example, you know, there's a classic thing of the long screw damage everyone's heard about, hopefully. But yeah, even some screws were maybe like 0.5 millimeter longer than other ones, and you wouldn't notice it at first glance, of course, but that was all the difference it needed to cause damage if you put them around the wrong way, because it just wasn't obvious that the lengths were that different. So yeah, I mean, those all look exactly the same length to me, but without actually measuring them with something, you can't tell. But the 2 at the back apparently are obviously much shorter, so yeah, and they definitely are quite obvious there. They look maybe 2/3 the length of the other ones, so you know, you'll obviously notice that, but for other things, when they're only like 1 millimeter or something off, it may not be obvious straight away. And apparently, to take these off, you just lift up at the back, and there's a couple of magnets here that hold it on, but you just pull up, and it should just come straight off like that. There we go. I don't know who said there were magnets there, because those aren't magnets, they just look like rubber things that go into little pockets. So that's interesting. Don't believe everything you see on the internet. Don't believe everything you see anywhere. Anyway, that's that there. We can definitely see that there is some dust there. Not as much as I was expecting, to be honest. There's definitely, you know, there's definitely some in this heatsink here, but not a huge amount. It's not like clogged all the way along. There's a fair bit there. That's not making a noise. That's spinning freely. Let's try this one. It's not making a noise either, and it's spinning freely. But yeah, who knows? There's definitely dust in there, you can see. So there's not much. I'll just blow it out with some compressed air. So yeah, the intake vents are over here. So we'll just get that out of there. Same with the slot. And some bits of junk here. The rear vents, there's some vents along the back there. It's got some in it, but I don't know. They must be intakes as well, basically. That should get rid of that. And this stuff, I think I can just pull out with my finger, basically. There's not a lot in there. Yeah, which is quite good. lift this. No, I don't think it matters, but in the fan itself, I guess I'll blow those out a bit. I mean, I can't actually hear a noise when I rotate that with my finger, so I don't know. Really? It's really not as much much dust in there as I expected, but yeah, that's pretty much it, really. Everything looks pretty clean. Just check these ones. That one does seem to stop a little bit sooner than this one, so I'd say one could be the one that's a bit dodgy, but probably isn't going to be an actual problem. So I should clean the dust off this too. That's going to work better if I use a brush. Alright. Just do this off screen. Got a brush here. Just do this off screen so I don't get the dust back on the laptop that I just cleaned. That should be okay. So let's just put that back together. Ah, they clip in like that, little clips. Righty ho. Some dust there. Anyway, I guess really I can test it like that. I don't need to put the screws back in just to try it out and see if it makes the noise still. Whoops, just hide that. Well, I'll tell you what, the noise has stopped. Huh. Would you believe that? Let's see. Can I record this? I can, but you probably won't believe me because you can't really hear anything. I don't know if you can hear the sound of that. I'm not sure even if I can hear the sound of that. Actually, I figured it made more sense to do a film of the actual fans themselves, just directly with the case off, just to prove my point. Yeah, so there we go. I've got my recorder aimed directly at that fan there. You can see it's not spinning right now, but if I press the power button here, you know, barely any noise on there unless I speak. Same goes for the other one. Yeah. Also spinning, also not making a noise. I guess that was just that. That was it. Just dust. And even though there wasn't much that I could see, it still was causing a problem and making a noise. So maybe that dust that was in the fan blades, there was just enough of it to bump around on the fan housing and make a noise. I don't know. But there we go. It's gone, and so is the noise. So looks like the problem is solved. Just thought I'd run Prime 95 to give this thing a test out and make sure it was working okay. And then I thought I'd record the noise from the fan here. So as you can see, it's just now a pretty constant hissing noise of just airflow, as you'd expect. So yeah. So yeah, that's the kind of typical noise you'd expect. Just a fan running at high speed and just airflow. Yeah, no rattling noise at all there. But yeah, there we go. Definitely that fixed the problem. That's got rid of that noise entirely. I will put the bottom back on. Show putting the screws in, just for fun. Let's see. So just push down about there to get those little clips in. Seems to be how you do it. And now I can put the screws back in. So that's nice. Seems like a very simple thing. So just put those screws, hang on, tilt my camera back in. There we go. And again, just pick them out from the area that I put them in, and just put them back in the same way. Sometimes, to get the threads in correctly, sort of start the screw and it gets a little bit cross-threaded, is just to back it out a little bit and then try again. And you can see when it starts turning easier in the thing. Remember, this is all just aluminium or aluminum, depending on what country you're in. So you know, easy to strip the screw. Easy to strip the the case threads, I guess. The body. Probably the screws are steel and actually harder to strip, but you don't want to strip aluminium. It's not fun, unless this thing has steel inserts or something. I don't actually know, I just didn't look at that. But it probably doesn't matter. They didn't take much force to get out, so I'm not going to use too much to put them back in. And there we go. That's that. Now, make sure it still works. There we go. You can't actually see anything important on there, just a login screen, so that's good. There we go, a nice easy video cleaning dust out of a MacBook Pro A1398. It's just nice to have something easy for once, for a change sometimes. So that's the thing. Really all you need. If you have a similar problem, yeah, it could well be that it's just dust in the fan. I'm glad it didn't have to get a replacement fan. That's nice, because yeah, I mean, that would probably be a pain to try and buy that and get it by Christmas. Unlikely to happen, I suppose, unless you want to pay a lot of money. So yeah, that's good. So that's that one. That's that for that. And yeah, I'll see you next time.